This is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. Here we go. Here we go. This is it. This is it. Give me that pound. Give me that pound. That khaki came out nice. That one.
Right, on the All City Taxi Talk Show this week, we have the legendary B-Boy and Power Breaker from back in the day, King Breaker from London Allstars crew. How you doing?
Good to be on the show.
It's an honour to have you in the back of the Ultra Cab.
It's an honour to be here.
Right, first two questions I like to ask is where you're from and what was it like growing up as a kid?
Well, West London, place called Acton.
Acton, yeah.
Yeah, but born and bred in South Acton Estate. Bit of a not a nice area, but I loved it. It was my hometown. So, you know, it was growing up. I wouldn't say it was tough. Me growing up was I had a very supportive parents, very strong parents. They knew the area that we lived, where we lived. It was quite a rough area, you know. Yep. Growing up, you grew up with, as we call gang men. You know, you grew up with them as kids. But my father's always showed me the working direction. I wasn't great at school, you know. Yep. So, you know, I already knew where I was heading. But my father and my mother they didn't like us going out late. It wasn't like.
So did you have a bit of a curfew going on?
What? Listen, my mum and dad used to come out round about 8, 9 o'clock. And my dad would be in his slippers and his pajamas, you know, one of them things.
Ready and waiting.
Yeah, and just telling me in. And I used to see all my friends waving to me, yeah, see you later, T, see you later, see you later. So it was like one of the ones where I just think, freaking hell, Dad, don't embarrass me like that upon the people there. So yeah, I had sort of like a strong upbringing with my parents, very protective, and didn't like to get me out of their sight.
Yeah, and you obviously had a lot of respect.
Oh, a lot of respect for my mum and dad. A lot of respect. But I actually used to like listening to jazz, and that was one of the first stars when I started to try dancing, because I was into roller skating. I used to go to Starlight, you know, at the Hammersmith Odeon, or I think it was Hammersmith Odeon. We used to go to Starlight on a Saturday, you know, and I used to try and think as a young kid I can hang with the big boys.
When was this, like early 80s?
Well, no, this was in the like 70s, late 70s. You know, and we had all the used to come from South Acton, and we used to, you know, roller skate all the way to Hammersmith, you know. And to be honest, I had to sneak my way to there, because there goes with my strong parents, they wouldn't let me go.
Yeah.
You know, if they caught me going out there, that's it. That's the belt coming out of the belt.
You're grounded, and yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna get the slipper.
In it. Yeah.
And so how did you start getting into the dancing then?
Well, I started getting into dancing where I lived. I mean, I wasn't into any of the break, because it hadn't come out yet. But what I was into was jazz.
So you'd done a bit of jazz dancing?
Yeah, well, tried to. You know, man's thought he was good, but it wasn't really on them sort of levels. And we used to have a guy who I still see today, a guy called Richard Butler. And he lived down on the ground floor. And I remember every, I'd say Friday and Saturday, I would, he'd be getting ready to go out. You know, he was a lot older than me.
Yeah.
And before he'd go out, he'd have a big mirror in front of himself, and he'll start practicing his moves. because obviously he was going out to basically the same as what the breakers, the poppers were doing.
That's right.
They're
Yeah,
getting
because my friend Fraggle, he done the same thing. He used to practice like popping in front of the mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy used to do, used to do it, and I used to think he was amazing. You know.
So he was quite an inspiration to you.
Yeah, and he was quite popular, and if anybody knows the jazz era, they will know Richard Butler.
Yeah.
From Southampton, because he was one of the top boys. And
Well, he was a big inspiration.
oh, massive,
Yeah.
massive.
Yeah. So, when did you start getting connected to like the b-boy or the breaking? Because you was in a crew obviously before London Allstars.
Yeah, I was
What was your crew called then?
called Cosmic Rockers.
Cosmic Rockers, that's it.
Yeah, Cosmic Rockers was.
But was it a mixture of poppers and breakers?
Yeah, it was quite a good mixture actually, because we had about 3 or 4 poppers and about 3 or 4 breakers. It was quite a big unit for a breaking crew or a popping crew or a hip hop crew, and we had Mark Smith, aka Rhino, the Gladiator.
Yeah.
He was in
He's
the
the
crew.
original member.
He's one of the original members of it, which I still see him today, and we still laugh and talk about it. Some of the stuff that happened when we were kids in that crew. Then you had Lewis Palmer. You had a guy called Wayne Porter, and they were the 3 poppers. And then you had me. Then you had David Chin.
Yeah.
And Carl Lovian, and I think there was a Tony Bent, who sadly passed away at a young age.
But how did you get into it? Because obviously when was this going back to what, 83, 84?
Yeah, 83, 84. I got into it like everybody else did.
Watching
you're watching Buffalo, watching Shalimar and Buffalo Girls.
Yeah.
And to me, the one that turned it for me, and it turned it for everybody. I don't care what anyone says for breaking. Malcolm McLaren turned it for every b-boy, because that got nationalised. That went right across.
It was massive, wasn't it?
It was massive, and you can't take that away from him. And
also you had the video to go with it.
he had a full package. We had Buffalo Girls. You saw it. You saw the faces. You saw the characters. You saw everything.
And the fashion as well. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole culture came out from there. He brought. Unfortunately, he brought everything out, from the double Dutch. From the popping and then the breaking, and that's sort of like it sort of like cut me away from jazz totally.
And that's when you converted. You thought, I want to be a b-boy.
To be honest, at that time I didn't know what I wanted to be, because I was just fascinated by what it was. It was just like, what is this shit going on? This is unbelievable. I've got to be a part of this, And
did you dabble? Did you dabble at popping or robot, or was you strictly?
You know what? I'll tell you something now, right? Yeah, I did.
You did.
Yeah, but
did you try that first, or was it the?
Yeah, because it was the Shalimar and the robot, and to be honest, I was totally, utterly, completely shit. But I used to think I was good.
Yeah.
I mean, my body was not shaped
to pop.
No.
Nah.
It wasn't shaped for popping.
Well, I don't know. For anyone that hasn't met King Breaker, you're quite a big guy. Like.
Yeah. I was a big guy at school. Not huge, but
big frame.
But I was big frame.
Yeah.
And
that's.
It just didn't work for me. It just didn't work for me at all. I couldn't pop. I'm shit now trying to do it, and I'm shit then trying to pop. So it wasn't for me. So I started to get into the breaking, and I found myself, do you know what? I can actually do this. This is all right. I felt good because I felt powerful. I felt, I felt more This is not taking it away from the poppers, but I felt bigger than the poppers.
You was made to break.
Yeah, I felt something like, yeah, this is me.
It's like some people are made to pop, but you was made to break.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, there's some amazing poppers, you know, that I can sit and watch and just jaw dropping. But for me, nah, that doesn't work. I'll stick to the breaking.
Stick to the breaking. So, what was the connection? When did you link up with the London Allstars? Was that at Hippodrome?
No.
Was it Electro Rock or?
Electro Rock, I was already in the Allstars.
Right.
Well, Electro Rock, I was already in the Allstars. It was Millie Mills. He came up to me and asked me about Allstars, for joining Allstars. But if we're going back before that, from Cosmic Rockers, it was because Cosmic Rockers were we were from Acton, and we never really went out. We never really went out anywhere out of our zone. And I came in, I broke the hip hop scene at quite a late in the years, like 83, 84, but we were breaking in 82, like trying to, because it was just, for us it was like, we were just skimming the surface. We hadn't branched anywhere.
And that would be late 82.
Yeah.
Late 82. And because before that it was the robot, and then it was body popping.
That's correct, yeah.
And then come in the breaking.
Yeah.
You know, in breaking days, going back to early breaking days, was there any one move that you would have trouble to now, like you'd find it really difficult?
All of them.
All of them.
All of them. They were all hard because I didn't want to be just your average breaker. It was never what I had in my head. I wanted to be the best.
The best of the best.
I wanted to be the best of the best.
Yeah. So you would have to now make sure you know every move.
Yeah.
Every move.
And I didn't just want to be a power breaker. I wanted to be more than a power breaker. I wanted to be something special. Something special. Now, mine, in our little community, when I finally branched out, and my biggest branch out was, the first time was at Lyceum. And it's the first time I met Dolby.
Was that that was a Shango, Africa Bambaataa and Soul Sonic Force? Was it that?
Do you know what? I'm not sure whether it was, but I know that Allstars.
That was in 84.
Yeah, Allstars went on stage and done a.
Yeah, it was on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, they went on stage and they done a competition. I think, or they come back from the States. Yeah. They'd come back from the States, but they'd done a show, and I remember Dolby come up to me and telling me about are you king? And you know, Dolby was someone I saw on TV.
How did Dolby hear about you? Just through...
Dolby heard about me because I'm king. I was like a triple threat. I was like a triple threat. No, I knew Dolby from TV.
Yeah.
Dolby knew me because people have been speaking about me, which I never knew. I never knew this talk was going out. So when I reached Lyceum, Dolby came straight to me. You're king, and I'm like, what is going on here? So, you know, Dolby straight away wanted to take me out. You know, and I stepped back. I said no, because one, it's the first time I ever saw Dolby. Two, it was my biggest jam. My first ever biggest jam.
Was you nervous meeting Dolby? Because Dolby was a big...
Yeah, I was. I'm not going to lie. I was nervous. You know, no one could take away Dolby, what Dolby was. Dolby was one of the first B-boys for me. Other people might know him as no, he wasn't, but for me, he was. You know, I saw him on. He was televised, so he was out there. More people had seen it. So when he came in front of me, you're sort of like saying, "Wow, Dolby." But when I said no, I didn't want to battle him. Business, and I can remember business saying, "King, you got to battle him."
Business from Live to Break.
Yeah. Business from Live to Break. King, you got to battle him. And I was like, Billy, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I can't believe people were saying I wanted to battle him. Where did this come about? I was like, where did this come about? Well, who's been saying this? I mean, this is the first time I've stepped into half of these people I don't even know. And you know, all of a sudden I got Dolby stepping up. But so Billy was like, right, well, I'm gonna battle him. I'm gonna battle him. And I was like, okay, you can battle him. And so anyway, they battled. But when I saw that battle, you know, you like anything else, I think, why didn't I just say yes?
Yeah.
Why didn't I just say yes? So I'll give Dolby that one. I'll give him that. But then after that, I joined Allstars.
So did Dolby come up to you and say, do you want to join Allstars?
No, Dolby didn't. It was Milton, and it was after it. After it was like maybe 3 or 4 months after, because I knew Milton, Millie Mills, and Milton approached me, and then I met the Allstars, and we started practicing from Milton's house. Because we used to practice, but it wasn't enough for me. You know, I wanted more in my breaking, and I was very, very connected to Live to Break. Very connected with Pervez, my boy. 100% respect for that boy.
Yeah.
You know, one of, to me, the best twister I've never seen.
Twisting like it?
Nah. The style and everything. For me, that's why we linked up. We linked up in 90, I think it was 96, when everybody stopped. You know, we were getting turned away from clubs. People were telling us, sorry, but you can't break here. You know, people were telling us you can't break in this club. That's how bad it was for us. You know, we were struggling, but we kept it going, and we held it. We held it a lot. We took out people that were breaking. We destroyed. We were untouchable. You know.
Was that going back to like London Allstars? So who was that? I mean, I'm going to get Dolby in the back of the cab, because you know Dolby's going to obviously give me a bit of a rundown with the history as well.
Yeah.
But who was in London Allstars?
You had Millie Mills, Dolby, Special T.
Yeah.
You had Flipski.
Yeah.
You had Danny Francis.
I was Danny in
Danny
Allstars.
No, I don't think Danny was in, but
he was down. He was
down with us.
Yeah.
And then you had obviously me. You see?
So there was only around sort of maybe 6
max.
6. What? That is quite, you know, it's not like a big crew, is it?
No.
And as I said to you before, if Live to Break and London Allstars come together as one, could you imagine? Could you imagine?
Untouchable.
Untouchable, yeah.
And that's not talking about
because in Live to Break you had Hallett, Billy, Spider,
Billy, you had Pete, and
yeah.
I think it was Airborne.
It was Airborne, yeah.
Yeah.
So could you imagine if you would have combined?
No, it would be dirty.
You would have been untouchable, wouldn't you?
I don't think people understand how shit hot London was at breaking. We were unbelievable. Yeah. You know, some of these boys, some of the names that I've just mentioned now, they were the best of the best. You've got, no matter what, you've got London Allstars and you've got Live to Break. They were the best of the best. For me, this is me talking. This is what I saw. And for me, there weren't another crew in the UK that was better than any of them two put together. If you put them two together, they will destroy, in breaking, they will destroy a team. And they, individually, you know, they were strong enough just on their own. So putting them together would be sick.
Tell me the little story about the Opera House. New York City Breakers at the Opera House.
I need to make this clear, put this clear out to some of these new school hip hop boys. First I gotta go back to where it all started.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
Where it all started.
Can't forget your roots.
No, where it all started.
Know your history, then you won't know your present.
What up?
You gotta know your history.
There was one incident when I was breaking and I was at the centre with
Covent Garden.
Covent Garden, and I was with Live to Break, and I remember Business was doing a move. He was trying to do a backspin and pop out of this backspin with no hands, and we were doing it on the top floor because you had, I think the breakers were up on the top sometimes, and the youth centre was down on the first floor, and we were on the second floor. If I can vaguely remember that, and I remember us practicing up there, and I remember Billy trying to do this move, and he couldn't do it. This backspin.
What was it? A backspin going into coming out of a backspin?
Yeah, a backspin and popping out of a backspin and landing on your feet with no hands.
But he couldn't nail it.
He couldn't nail it. And in my head I was thinking, I could do that move. I know I can.
You have to be quite strong to do that move, like.
Yeah, because it's all coming from the neck.
Right. And so you had that build. You had that power.
Yeah, and I was that sort of size. And I remember Billy comes up and said, "King, you try this move. This is you all over, basically." So I practiced that move, and Billy helped me, and Billy guided me into doing this move. And I done that move in electro rock as well at the Hippodrome. And New York City Breakers were over here, and they were doing it at the Royal Opera House.
It was Little Lep and
Little Lep, Powerful Pervez,
yeah,
and Icy Ice, Flip, and they were all there. And I remember Allstars got the pass to go in and see them. And I remember going in and practicing, and I remember them watching, and I'd done this backspin, and I popped out onto my feet with no hands. And this is nowhere will I be, is my witness. They could not believe I had done this move. He stopped and he said, "Man, do this move again. Just wait, let me go and get this." And he went and got his crew, and I bust this move in front of him, and they were like, "How did you? It's impossible. It's impossible. How could you do that move?" And nobody, today's B-boys don't even realise that we were the creators of that move.
Is there a name of that move?
We used to call it no-handed pop-out. That's what we used to call it. I suppose now they've most probably transformed it into something else. So like they have done six-step.
So it was Billy, it was Spider that come in with tried to do it, but he couldn't, so he then taught you and you nailed it. You nailed the move.
Yes.
You perfected it.
Perfected it.
Perfected it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And we were the first to bust it. Well, I was the first to bust it. You know.
Can we talk about the power breaking as well? A little bit more detail on power breaking.
Well, I'm quite passionate, as you might as well know.
Can you tell me the difference between a power breaker and another style of breaker? You've
got a power breaker, and then you've got your fancy twisters, yeah, which is your Pervez. You know, Pervez is not a power breaker. He's a twister, and he's a damn good twister.
And he's quick as well.
And he's quick. And power is, for me, the ultimate breaking for me, power. But the thing about power is people think, I've got this move, I can do this move, I'm going to jump into a next move. I can do that move, I'm going to jump into a next one. My vision of power was very different. My idol was Icy Ice. He was my idol.
Yeah.
Now, if you've ever seen Icy Ice break, or anybody's watched him break, he has uncontrollable power. It's like he can't control it. He doesn't realise what power he had. And what I done, I thought to myself, well, if I could take that power and control it, and also have the same ability as the twisters, as in being light on my feet. Because even though I was a power breaker, I don't want to be heavy on my feet. I want to do the stuff that they do. So it took. I realised that I can't go and just do one breaking move. I mastered every. I didn't have a lot of moves. I never had a lot of breaking moves. But so you know, the vision I had with my power is that I wanted the power. I loved the power. I loved the way, you know, these power moves were. I just used to like watching them.
And you was built for power as well.
I was built for power. You know, I had the strength for power.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to practice anything else other than power. But what I wanted to do, I wanted to master power, not just have a move. I wanted to know that every time I done that move, I could do it even on a bad day. And I can, because at the time you master power, you can add all the little bits around it. You can add all that because you can do the move with your eyes shut. But what a lot of people were doing, I've got that flair, I've got that move, I've got that move, and then they try and bring it out onto the dance floor. And 90% of the time it don't work. But I wanted to make sure that every time I done it, it worked. And that's what I did. And also I wanted to be light on my feet. So
because you was a little bit like Muhammad Ali, like you was heavyweight, but you could dance like a lightweight.
I had to be light on my. I didn't want to be a sluggy power breaker. You know, I watch some of these power breakers, and yeah, they're doing some great moves, but they're sluggy. When they're prancing, they're sluggy, and I didn't want that. And I had to make. So I would stand in the mirrors for hours, just prancing and trying to put my character to my breaking.
To try and perfect
it, because breaking doesn't. For me, breaking comes in 3 stages. You have a start, a middle, and a finish.
100%, definitely.
And if you haven't got them, then you're in trouble.
And you're going to go in with attitude as well. Like you're going to win.
You have to. You have to go in with attitude. Look, today. Look, I love seeing these breakers of today. They're doing some amazing stuff. Some stuff that I just think, shit.
How do
you do that? But for me,
the style.
You got to have that. You got to have style. You can't. And to me, B-Boy they've always had a character. It's like, I'm gonna put it in an example. I'm an Arsenal supporter. I'm an Arsenal supporter. Yeah. Arsenal have been going for years. Football has changed. It's changed, yes?
Yeah.
But they never changed their colour of their kit, their home kit.
Yeah.
What colour is their home kit? Red. And it's always been red. Yeah. And it will never change. Because that's the identity of them. And to me, B-Boy, that's the identity. Their dress code, the way they battle,
their attitude,
That's their identity, and to me, that's been taken. That's been taken away. But the moves are there. They're all there. Everything is there. The B-boys of today have taken it to a next level. If I walk into a club now, I couldn't tell you who's a breaker or a popper. But go back 20 years ago, I walk into a club, I could tell you, he's a B-boy, he's a popper. Just by the way they dressed and the way they stood up, the way they acted, everything about them. Everything about them.
Because we also need to talk about the fashion side of things, because fashion was everything back then, wasn't it? It's like what you wore is like, it was like you was putting on, like, you could say, like your armour. You was going into battle.
When I was going to a jam, it was like the story I told you about Richard Butler. When you put on them clothes, you become a B-boy or you become a popper. You become this person.
This character.
Yes.
Yeah.
You become this like machine that's out to destroy, out to go for a battle. You know it's you. You know you're going out, and whoever steps in your way in a club is getting it.
You're gonna get burned.
Exactly. But I understand things change, but you can't take that away. Because that's why I can watch Purvis all day. I watch him break all day. Not because he's doing great moves or this or that, but it's from the start of the way he comes out. Even when we were standing in the circle, you know, even when you're standing in the circle, you've got this. It's like you're dying to come out. You want to come out, and you can see it. Your whole attitude, the way you're looking at your opponent, you know, the person that you wanted to burn. You're doing everything in your power to weaken him. But you don't get that no more. You don't get that here. They don't do that. Why? I do not know. You would love to hold up a few certain boys that are willing to listen and to, you know, take in something that I say. I'm not saying I'm right. There's going to be people that are going to listen to this and think, King's chatting shit. You know, this is my belief. You know, this is what I think. B-girls, I love people that are breaking and popping still to this day, you know. But for me, the style, the attitude, everything to me has been taken away, and it's not so much fun for me no more. And it sort of like saddens me a little bit, because, you know, that was my life. That's what made me who I am today. That took me around the world. You know, that made me see things that, you know, people dream of seeing. And even when I was coming towards the end of my breaking, and I was still breaking, even when I was performing on stage, I still had this B-boy attitude, like I wanted to battle, because it was I felt it was the right thing. You know,
I asked Purvis actually from Live to Break, did you ever stretch or anything like that?
No. We didn't stretch. What's that? Well, I think when I think back now, I think we should have stretched, because I think it would have helped us.
Did you work out as well? Did you do any weights or anything like that?
Yeah, I used to do weights. Yeah.
You used to do weights?
Yeah. You know, so, but I didn't want to get too. It got to the stage when I was doing weights, when I was like going to the gym. I stopped and I said, no, I don't want to do no more, because I won't be light on my feet. I'd start to get heavy, and I didn't want to be heavy. But I still wanted to have the power to pick my body up. You know, and now when I look at these kids today, I'm thinking, shit, I didn't have to be that big. Them boys are picking themselves up, and them skinny. You know, that's how far breaking has gone. You know, it's not, these power breakers are not big. You know, they're not big no more. You know, they're just like your average kid.
Yeah.
You know,
King, what was the what was the reason behind your name, King Breaker? How did King Breaker come about?
Do you
How'd
know
you get
what?
your name?
It's really weird how, because it wasn't. I wasn't meant to be called King. We would.
Did someone name you King?
Yeah, the guys out of Cosmic Rockers.
Right.
And they goes, oh no, let's call him King Breaker. And we were all in it was in Priory, and we was all giving names out. And I think one was Kaz Pop Rockwell. One was I can't. Do you know what? I can't even remember. But I remember them saying, and I think it was Lewis Palmer goes, oh, what about King Breaker? And I thought, yeah, that's right.
And that stuck.
And they just kept on calling me King Breaker. And that's how it stuck. And to me, you know, that's quite a powerful name to actually have, you know, King Breaker. Because there it goes again. I didn't think it was going to go any further. I didn't think that name was going to go, like, I'm talking worldwide, because it did. It went across the world, that name. Now, I wouldn't think of that. If I knew that it was, I wouldn't have called myself King Breaker. But for me to hold that name, and people today calling me King still, it makes me feel, well, I must have been, for me to hold that, I must have been special. I must have had something, you know. And this is what we spoke about when I spoke to you before. It's, you don't,
34 years later,
you don't really, it's still here. And you don't realise, I never realised how good I was, you know. I only heard it through other people. Because I was quite a shy kid. I never really went out and exposed, yeah, I'm gonna take you there, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I was never like that. I took it to the floor. Let's take it to the floor. When people used to say, yeah, are you King? Yeah. You want us to go for yours? I'm like, all right, okay. But in my head, I am roasting them. I'm going ballistic. My head is gone. I am king in my head, and I'm ready to take you out.
Did you totally zone out?
I was totally. I was so dedicated to my breaking and my power moves. You know, it's and I remember us learning backspin. Now today, I mean, some of the new school that are going to hear this are going to think, fucking hell, that's easy, I can do that with my eyes shut. Go back 30 years, you could do that with your eyes shut. Because we had to make a lot of this stuff up by ourselves, you know. And I remember going backspin onto head and trying to learn backspin onto head. And I remember thinking, I don't just want to go backspin onto head. I want to do something else. And I remember thinking, right, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into a 90 from my head. Now, you go back 25 years, that's some serious shit you're doing there. You know, a backspin into a head spin into a 90-90. And it took me about 6 months, I would say, 6 months to get backspin onto my head into a 90. The way I wanted to get it done, because I didn't want to do it in a sense of, it's in stages. So you see me stop onto my head, that little tiny pause goes into my head, then that little tiny pause going onto my hand to a 90-90. I wanted it to be fluent. I could do the moves in less than a month and a half to 2 months. I could get there. But it took me 6 months to master it, and that just shows you what I wanted to do in power breaking. I didn't just want to just do the move. I wanted to master that move with my eyes shut, and and once I got it, 99.9% of the time when I was breaking, I could do that move. So then what I could do, I could put other stuff to it with my eyes shut, because I could do what I wanted, because I know I could do the move, and it's an easy move for me to do, because it's taken me 6 months to master it, and now I've mastered it, I can put anything I want involved in it, you know. And then that's when I start to bring my style involved, because when I was learning these moves, I would never bring style into it. Never. I wanted to get the move first, then I would bring the style in. That's how I work, and I always work like that. I've never not worked like that, you know. And then I would spend another month in front of a bedroom mirror trying to put the style, to put it to. And I used to battle myself. I mean, shit, man. Some of the stuff I used to do, I used to talk to myself. I used to talk to myself in the mirror.
But you couldn't have, like, I mean, was you trying to perfect the move actually in your bedroom, like, because it must have been quite a small space?
I perfected the move at, like, the clubs, well, not the clubs, sorry, the youth clubs. You know, like, I'd go with, if I lived to break, or if I was at Allstars, I would be practicing their moves, and I'd be doing them slow. I never went into them like, oh, I've got to put 100% in to get this move up. No, because what I was doing, as I was doing the move, I was trying to study it. How can I make the move work where I don't have the pause?
King, what was the greatest battle you would say you've ever been in? Has it been, obviously there's been loads of battles, but would there be like one battle where you think that was close, or getting a bit on top?
I wouldn't say close, because it wasn't. But I think one of the battles that I can always remember to this day, and it was quite a funny battle actually. It didn't last long. It wasn't a long battle. I think I only came out twice, no, maybe 3 times. And I remember I was in Allstars. I was fresh in Allstars, so I was quite hyped, if you know what I mean. I was like, yeah, Allstars. And my town had already started to know that I was in Allstars. And I remember meeting up with my old Cosmic Rockers, and and it's quite funny because I've gone into this Greenford Town Hall, and I'm standing there just with my friends, you know, my old crew, because we still kept good friends. And I remember this guy coming up to me. It was like the Lyceum all over again. And he's like, yeah, go on, King, go for yours. Yeah, I can take you out. And I was like, Jesus Christ, can someone get this kid away from me? It was like, who is this kid? And he's like, go for yours. I want to bang it. And all of a sudden, I just thought of like Lyceum, of when it was me and Dolphy. And I was like, do you know what? Let's go. I thought, let's go. And he came out and he went on this floor and he done this move, and I was like, are you joking me? That's an insult. Don't ask me ever to come out. And he's like, go for yours. And all of his crew was standing there. And they were like, King, you gotta go out there. You gotta battle him. What, are you chicken? And I'm like, right. I said, so I took off my jacket and I said to my boys, I am going to absolutely roast this geezer. I'm going to send him home. And I remember I came in there, and what I'd done, I remember prancing out, and as I was prancing out, I remember walking round to him and I'm saying, watch this, because I'm only going to do it once. Alright? And I walked out, I pranced, I'd done a little tiny footwork, and I got back up, I pranced again, and then I flared and I windmilled and I went straight into a 90. So I flared, windmilled 90, and I just drilled a 90. And I landed back on my feet. And I mean, the crowd just went mad. And he came out and his boy obviously came up to him and said, as if to say, no, you can't beat that. You can't beat that. So that battle has always been stuck in my head because it was one of the funniest battles I had. And I think one of the ones that I always remember as well, one of them is the battle. It wasn't actually a battle. It was the one that I had with Hallet at the WAG. I had one with Hallet, but we wasn't battling.
You just
it was a competition,
right?
And it was Live to Break were there, and I was the only all-star there at the time. But I was very close with Live to Break. Yeah. And we were in this battle. It ended up being me and Hallet in the final. And I reckon I done him. I reckon I done him. But hey, it went to Hallet. And I'm only saying it went to Hallet because Hallet had all these boys there. You know, I think even Business might have been DJing. As a matter of fact, I think DJ Business, I think he was the one who actually said this. Hallet, there's the winner. So, but that was a good one. That was a good one as well.
You know, we all lose and win battles, though, innit?
No.
You don't lose.
No.
You don't lose.
No. Even if I lost, I haven't lost. That's the way I felt. Like, yeah, I was never in your face. Never that type of character. I always wanted to be friends with everybody. You know, I didn't want to have enemies. Not from the London side. You know, I didn't want that. And the beauty, another beauty about London, which I like, is that even though we had the two top crews in London, which were Live to Break and Allstars, whenever Smack 19, Broken Glass, Rock City crew, whenever they came down to London, that was so nice to see that London would never see their own crew get beat. You know what I mean? They would never see their own people get beat.
Yeah.
So when the battles come, it was London. Yeah. It's night. You saw Live to Break and you saw All-Stars all battling together against these Broken Glass and people from Manchester, Wolverhampton. You know, so you know they all liked each other, but they got that love-hate. They had that love-hate.
Are you still in touch with any of them old crews like Rock City or?
Yeah, I speak to
Broken
Sly.
Glass, anyone?
I don't speak to anybody from Broken Glass. Every now and then I speak to Bubbles. I just like to say I think Bubbles was one of the best beat girls I've ever seen. If not the.
Sure. Yeah.
She had so much style, and I haven't seen a girl that has got that style.
Yeah.
And that's from today. I've not seen a girl that has got style like that.
I'll tag her in on this interview as well. Looking back on all the music, King. Like, was there any tracks that really stood out for you? That would really get you like moving on the on the floor? You know, because I had quite a few. You know, obviously Planet Rock and Scorpio.
See, Planet Rock.
Al Hashim, The Soul. You know.
Planet Rock wasn't really a tune for me as it made me think, oh shit, I gotta go out and break. I think the one tune that I really did like, and it was from, a matter of fact, it was from Beat Street, and it wasn't a tune that that was played a lot in the clubs, but I really, really did like it. Was Battle Cry.
Yeah, it's a tune, isn't it?
The one where they're down in the
Battle Cry.
Yeah. Because that was just, for me, that was, and I used to practice.
That was one of them tunes where, you know, you'd be standing on the sideline, and as soon as that dropped, you wanted to go in.
And The thing is that that's one of the main tunes I used to practice at home with, because to me I'd picture them battling in the subway.
Yeah.
And I would picture myself. It was kind of really stupid, really, but that's what I used to do. And I used to practice my prancing from there.
It's a good question for you. What can today's B-boy and B-girls, what would you say they need to learn from the old school? I mean, I know we've covered some of this already about attitude.
Do you know, my view is, and this is, I feel this from me and from my heart, I think some of these new school B-boys and B-girls, they need to come and talk to us, because there's a lot of shit that we know that they can take in.
And also, maybe we need to talk to them as well.
And we need to talk to them, but it's for us to get out to them. But you know, we're so far out of it that I would love to help anybody that wanted help, anybody that wanted advice. I'd love to give it to them. I'd love to, because I feel even if I give the little bit of advice and if it helps, then I've achieved something. You know, it doesn't have to be. Someone might just want to know how did you bow? You know, someone might want to know, well, how did you dress, or how did you feel when you did, you know, little inputs. You know, us old schools can give them that, because if anything, it's like talking to someone that's been in the World War II. They can tell you shit that you just think, Jesus, really, and it inspires them. And it's exactly the same as us. We've been there. We've been where the real shit has happened. You know, some of these boys can tell you better stories than me. You know, they'll tell you stuff that, you know, that you know, some of the stories that I listen to, even when Pervez is telling me some stuff, he tells me some stuff, and it's jaw dropping just to listen to it. You know, and I'm one of the old school. You know, and my advice for these new school is to, you know, try and take your boundaries further. Think about not just the move. Don't just think about the move, because B-boying and breaking and popping has a start and a middle and a finish, and we are characters. When we get out there, we have a character. We do have a character. We're B-boys and B-girls. We're not Jackie and Julie and John. We're B-boys. You're B-boy. You have a name. I was called King Breaker, you know, and when I put my clothes on, I become King Breaker. Same as like DJs, when you come out, you know, you become DJ Business, DJ Pogo, Cutmaster Swift. You know, you become this person, and that's all I'm saying. These guys, the moves are all there. They've got the moves. You can't take away the moves. The moves are all there. They have them. They need guiding, and we're all here to help. I'd love to help these people, just to let them know what it's like. You know, I'm not trying to tell you how to run your life. I'm just telling you this is what it's like, and maybe you can put this to it. To, you know, my little dream is to have a crew to just go from town to town and destroying crews and leaving no trace. And not showing you the move. We do it once and that's it, we're gone. We've burnt you out. I mean, that would cause an uproar. That would bring it all back again. One shout out, who I think is amazing, and she's a B girl. And I think she's gonna go, if she keeps it going, she's gonna go absolutely to the top. And her name is, and I'm trying to remember it, Her name is, and I've totally...
With a T.
Yes.
It's Terra.
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 I must say Terra is, for me...
Where's Terra from stateside?
No, she's from England.
Oh, UK.
UK. Terra. She's got it. She has got complete style, old school.
Attitude.
Everything.
About the way she dresses.
Way she dresses, Adidas tracksuit.
Yeah.
Proper.
Proper shell toe.
Yeah.
Few mistakes.
Just a total attitude.
Body warmers. Yeah.
She's got to keep it. I'll big up her dad for that.
Yep. Be absolute honour having you in the back.
Been brilliant.
I've got. Is there anyone you want to give a shout? I know you know a lot of people as well, but anyone you want to give a shout out to, sort of past and present?
I want to give a big shout out to Special T. Rest in peace.
Yeah. All right.
You know, he's a very, very. He was a great man for me. You know.
When did T pass? It was recently, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Yeah. You know, I got a lot of time. I had a lot of time for Special T.
Yeah.
And Sipo.
Sipo, yeah.
Yeah, one of all time for me. Such a great man.
Yeah.
You know, brilliant. And I want to big up my family. My family, you know, as I'm a family man now, so that's my future now. That's where I go. You know, hip hop is at the past. You know, I love it. I watch it when it's on. You know, everybody sends me stuff. I watch it. And big up to all the old school and new school.
Yeah.
And people who know me, big up. People who don't know me, big up.
Yeah.
You're gonna know me now. And I don't. This is the first interview I've ever done.
Is this the
First one. I've never done an interview. I've always loved to do one. I've always wanted to let people know. You know.
Well, King Breaker, I'm honoured. I'm honoured to have you in the back of the Ultra Cab.
It's been an honour.
Listen, it's been a real pleasure speaking to you.
No, it's been brilliant being here.
Real pleasure. But listen, my man, I'm
How
gonna
much do I owe you?
That'd be I'll do you a 10% discount.
Blood fire.